Our previous video was about analyzing resources and capabilities. This video is about developing resources and capabilities. Often we hear from companies that employees are their greatest resources. Well, when we think of corporate strategy, what is corporate strategy in a nutshell? It's about managing assets to achieve the greatest returns. So if employees are thought of by companies as being their greatest resources, thus their greatest assets, then managing the resources, developing those resources and capabilities to generate our greatest returns is something that CEOs, what each CEO must do, what each company must do to perform and to achieve the greatest strategy. So when we think of that, what is our way to develop those resources and capabilities? Well, we have 5 steps here. And our first step is to begin with our company's winning aspiration. We communicate what the passionate commitment to vision is for the company to inspire the people. So how many times have you read that people do not leave toxic environments, they leave toxic bosses? What helps to create a toxic boss is not having that passionate commitment to vision, not having that passionate commitment to inspire people. So part of inspiration comes with building capable people. Part of it comes with coordinating the capabilities, integrating the skills, creating organizational routines. Part of it comes from adopting a knowledge-based view of the firm. And when we think of knowledge, actually knowledge is the most important resource of the firm. And then as well, we have to do what? We have to manage our knowledge assets. And so knowledge management can play a huge role in developing your firm's organizational capability. So when we think of capable people, what do capable people do? Capable people know how to learn. Capable people are creative. Capable people apply competencies. And so we learned earlier that core capabilities are those key success factors, what is crucial for survival, what the firm can do better than others. But when we think of competencies deliver differential advantage over competitors. We can think of competencies as harmonized combinations of multiple resources and skills that distinguish a firm in the marketplace. So our capable people will apply those competencies. And when we think of the firm investing in assets, investing in capable people, why do they do it? Because they expect to get greater value later from the resources, from those people, from those assets that they have invested in. And this is where you can come in as well. It's what is one of the most critical resources for a company? It's a manager that knows how to build capability. So this is where you can come in, where you can help to build those capabilities in your firm. Also, if your firm's product is actually a service, then what is your firm's distinctive competence with regard to that service? Is the knowledge that your employees have. And it's the knowledge that your employees have that other firms' employees do not have. So it's that accumulated combined knowledge that is your firm's distinctive competence. So capabilities are the outcomes of processes and routines. And there was one, I taught French at the University of Texas in Arlington, Texas, one year, many years ago. And one of the posters that was in the next room as I would walk toward my room actually comes back to this. And that was for a Spanish class. And so that poster, what was that poster in the Spanish class? That poster was un hombre que habla dos idiomas, vale dos hombres. A man that speaks, or a person in this case, but a man that speaks two languages is worth two people. So that's what a capable person is, someone who knows how to learn, who is creative, who is able to apply those competencies that he or she learns. And so when we think about becoming capable, what does it require? It requires empowerment, and it requires the right environment. It requires the opportunity and the freedom to fail. So becoming capable requires a different learning experience than learning a competence. And so that learning experience, learning how to learn, and that self-confidence, it cannot be achieved by the same way that you would learn a different competency. What you need to be is you need to be empowered to make those decisions. You need to be empowered to fail. The capable people need to have that freedom to fail. And what we find is that this helps to do what? It helps to build that self-confidence. It helps to build dynamic capabilities. And what are dynamic capabilities? They are higher level capabilities that permit adaptation and reconfiguration. So to be able to adapt, to be able to reconfigure other operational capabilities. So an example would be with regard to technological research capabilities, to be able to create new products. So capabilities for business development, how would you improve and adapt and reconfigure that? Could be international marketing or international management expertise. So how do we build those capable people? We must empower them. We must give them the right environment. We must give them that opportunity and freedom to fail, because that is what allows them to make decisions, and as well allows them to achieve success. And nothing achieves success, more success, like prior success. So when we think of instructing or teaching the competencies of our firm, we must consider three different things: the visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic learner. So those three items, those three portions need to be incorporated in any instructional package. So visual, it's the colors, the outlines, the graphics, the videos. It's what you see in front of you. It's what is appealing in front of you. You notice that I have pictures here. Again, what was that quote? It was that, or what was that statistic? Is that people remember 10% of what they see with no picture. They remember up to 60 to 65% of what they see with a picture. Auditory, so voice modulation is important. You need to do what? Limit the conversations, the outside noise that are in the environment. And then kinesthetic, we don't think of with kinesthetic. Kinesthetic, we normally think of as our hands on our keys, but kinesthetic is actually movement. So anything going back and forth. So writing on a whiteboard, for example, having a question and answer, having discussions, having that movement going back and forth. That is important for the kinesthetic learner. And when we think of our firm, we need to think of our firm as a knowledge-based firm. So that is the view that we have. That view is what? Is that our firm is a collection of knowledge assets. And when we think of value. How do we create value? We create value by exploiting the knowledge of our assets, exploiting the knowledge of our resources. And so you think, why do companies team build? Why does the manager take the group out to lunch? Why does the manager bring pizza, for example, if you're working late at night, it's 11, 12 o'clock at night, and you've got to get something done for the next day? Why is the manager bringing pizza there? To build that cohesive team, because that cohesive team allows organizational capability to be built. It's where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And frankly, it's cost effective. You say, how can it be cost effective if the manager's taking the people out to lunch? The manager is enjoying this camaraderie. The manager is bringing pizza in. The manager is trying. How is it cost effective? Because those people will work together. You think, what is the opposite, or what is the alternative? How much money does it cost to hire someone, to train someone, to bring them up to scale? Also, what are the opportunity costs that are there when you have someone who has left your company because they have not been empowered? So these are items for us to think about, and as well for you to think about, how are you an asset to your firm? How do you replicate knowledge for your firm? And so part of that comes with being proficient with processes. Processes need to become routines in hope that they can become core capabilities. But knowledge, and that bringing forth a cohesive team where you can come in, that will build organizational capability. When we think of knowledge management, there are also 5 steps that are involved with knowledge management. What are those? It's knowledge identification, being able to understand what is required. Knowledge management. So what are our goals? Did we meet those goals? Where do we end up from a knowledge standpoint? How can we measure what that knowledge was? Then that knowledge, once we have identified the knowledge, once we have measured where we started from and where we have, perhaps where we were in the middle, where did we end up, thinking where we're going to go in the future. How do we store that knowledge? How do we organize that knowledge? How do we share that knowledge? And then how do we replicate? Remember, we said we need a routine, because it is those routines that are going to become core competencies for us. So we need to integrate that knowledge as well within the firm. So how do you, one thing that I would like for y'all to do is to think about how you help to facilitate this identification, measurement, storage, organization, sharing, replication, and integration of the knowledge. Maybe you're not the one who is identifying, maybe you're not the one who is measuring, maybe you're not the one who is storing or organizing, but you can be the one who is sharing. You can be the one who helps to replicate that knowledge. You can be the one to help integrate that knowledge with other parts of the firm. So that is, we should be thinking about how we can facilitate that. What are some ways that we could do it? We could have a blog. We could help contribute as well to the company's website, to our own website, to LinkedIn, for example. We can become a mentor for someone else. So you can have that as part of your KPIs when you have your review with your director. As well, understanding what your own core competencies are. Then when you ask for greater responsibility, for example, when you ask for more tasks, ask for items that do what? That mesh with your own core competencies. Look for items that feed your core competencies so that you can make a difference. One thing that all CEOs must do is that they must allocate resources. What is the resource? One of the greatest resources that we're talking here, that is cash. Another resource that we do not have mentioned here, but is just as important as cash, is time. So what do we need to do? How do we help develop that resource? We invest disproportionately in the core capabilities, those core competencies. What is it that is going to give our company that competitive advantage? So we invest disproportionately so that we can develop our resources, our employees, to develop those routines that will become later our competency. And then finally, here is a quote from Jack Welch, who was chairman and CEO of GE for 21 years. An organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into action rapidly is the ultimate competitive advantage. So what does he say? Being able to translate that quickly into action. Action is the key. That is the competitive advantage. Learning and translation into action. Jack Welch. The other quote is from Wayne Gretzky, hockey player. So what does Gretzky say? He says, skate to where the puck is headed. Do not skate to where it has been. So thinking always ahead, thinking how we are going to translate that learning into action rapidly. That is our competitive advantage.